actually on the agenda twice over the 2 days. So I am from Samsung Research, but on this occasion I am speaking on behalf of 6GIA. 6GIA is the European Industry Association for Research and Industry, and makes up one half of the SNS public-private partnership with the European Commission. So this is not a new thing. 6GIA was previously known unimaginatively as 5GIA and formed the private side partner in 5G PPP. 5G PPP was part of Horizon 2020, Framework Project 8 from the European Commission. And that project ran for a total of 9 years in the end, once the funding ran out. And in that time, I was chairman of the steering board of 5G PPP for the last 6 years of the project, and also became a board member of 6GIA in the process. 6GIA is now the private side partner with the European Commission. It is subtly different in that in 5G PPP, whilst it was a partnership, control was held 100% by the Commission. All the funding came from the Commission, and as a result, all control over the agenda came from the Commission. In SNSJU, it is a 50-50 funding partnership, which means that industry is providing in-kind contribution to match that coming from the European Commission and the member states. And the good thing with that is it means that industry also has a much stronger say in the overall agenda, which means that at some level, all of your voices has some level of input into it as well, should you so choose to have. The makeup of 6GIA is fairly well dispersed. You can see that in 2021, the membership of 6GIA went up considerably. There were two things that stimulated that. One was the beginning of Framework Project 9 and the SNSJU, and the changing in the structure. So the Industry Association went out and actively pursued a much larger membership, partly to boost its own funding, but also to try and have that much larger industry voice and justify the faith that had been put into it by the Commission to actually have a much more prominent say in the overall research agenda. And so the membership continues to grow. We stand at around about 350 members now. That's made up of all of the large industry names that you would expect, plus lots of academia as well, plus lots of SMEs. And the SMEs are increasingly important. As we'll see in a moment, SMEs make up a large proportion of the funding distribution, and it's hoped that that will stimulate industry going forwards, find new vendors which are going to play a significant role in 5G Advanced and 6G going forwards. We have a number of international MOUs, some of which are with some of the other partners that you're going to hear from. It covers most of the significant 6G initiatives in the world right now, across North America, one in Latin America, others in Europe, various markets in Asia, and also heading down now towards Australia as well, I believe. And we also have partnerships with vertical industries. And we've always found that this is important. In some cases, this comes about as part of the structure of Horizon Europe. So Horizon Europe as a whole is not just about telecoms, it covers all research. It's a multi-billion euro research vehicle, of which SNSJU is just one small part. But it means that there are also other industries which have got similar research programs which we work alongside with and in some cases overlap with. Most prominent of which we'll come to in a moment, is within automotive, but we also cross over with ICT. But it also then means that we partner with some global organisations, such as 5GAA for automotive, 5GACIA for industry, the 6G Health Alliance, and then also European similar bodies, people like Ertico for automotive, European Space Agency, and so on. And so we try to bring them in as part of the programme and to help us set our broader agenda. The 6GIA itself has a number of working groups, and they produce white papers on important topics. So most recently, within the last 3 weeks, we produced the first white paper on expected 6G architecture for end-to-end system, but we've also covered in the past things like Open RAN, network ecosystem, strategic direction, and underpinning a lot of the work that goes into SNSJU is an annual initiative to set a research and innovation agenda, which is a large consultation exercise carried out by Networld Europe, which is associated with Horizon Europe, which is, again, industry participatory. So that's the place where you can have your input right at the very beginning. You can enter into that consultation, provide comments, help set the agenda. That agenda then helps form the work plan for the next call. And then there's an annual call for research and innovation funding where the funding is dispersed as a result of a bidding process. There is also a number of specific working groups. The working groups come in 3 different flavours. There are some which are directly from within 6GIA, where anyone who is a member of 6GIA, regardless of whether they're in a funded project or not, can participate in the working group. On the left-hand side there, you can see that the working groups cover a range of topics. They all always sound quite vague, but they are more horizontal than vertical. So they cover topics like the broader vision, openness, which is the open SNS, which covers open RAM, but also open interfaces, trials and testbeds, pre-standardization, where we have interactions directly into 3GPP and ETSI, and ETSI are in the room, and we appreciate their input to that as well. 5G and 6G for connected automation, which faces into the 5G for CAM, similar PPP. Spectrum, which of course is important. Thank you, Christina. 5G and 6G for, I've done that one. Security, and the last one is women in telecoms and research. And then we also have working groups which are formed by the projects themselves. So rather than being participating on behalf of a company, in the working groups which sit underneath the steering board, architecture, reliable software and networks, test measurement and validation, and hardware technologies, those people participate on behalf of their project. So it's a dissemination exercise. All of the projects which have any element of architecture involved in them provide their input, and that's what forms the architectural white paper which was published in the last few weeks. And as I mentioned, we are the private side partner in SNSJU. Smart Networks and Services joint undertaking started officially in 2021. It will run through till the end of the Horizon Europe programme in 2027, and then projects which are funded late in that programme will probably carry on for a further 2 years. The SNSJU structure now works across 3 different streams. Stream B is RIA type research, low TRL. Depending upon which call you happen to enter into, the range of topics varies based on the work plan and the previous strategic alignment which has taken place. There is a call upcoming this year. It will probably open in May. The work plan is already out if you want to go and look for it. And in that call, we'll be focusing on architecture, on RAN, on NTN within the RAN program, on artificial intelligence, on security. Then 2 other streams sit alongside that, which are about testbeds and platforms. Stream C is more for experimentation and is looking towards 6G testbeds. Stream D is more about bringing in industry verticals and being able to demonstrate on top of what is considered to be a more mature testbed. The testbeds are built, and then we engage with industry verticals to bring in trials, testbeds, and other partners through an open bid process. To date, we've had 3 calls. The 4th call, as I mentioned, is pending, subject to the European Commission sorting out their internal political wrangling. There are 79 funded projects, and so far we've dispersed 501 million euros. That's about half of the funding which is going to be dispersed in total with match funding from industry. The 1,244 entities that have been funded are spread across the full width of academia, industry, and SME within the ecosystem. And the reason it's a much bigger number than the 297 6GIA members that have been funded is because you don't have to be a 6GIA member to take part. It's open to all partners. There are some restricted calls, although the level of restriction is always fairly light. But essentially anybody can participate in a call and anybody can get funded. All of the funding is determined via a bid process. And as mentioned, the participation is 26% made up by SMEs. So we're trying to stimulate new participation, new entry into the market. And of that, the 26% of SMEs have taken 24% of the funding. So they are more than holding their own. It's not SMEs just for the sake of tokenism. And across the number of countries which participate, You will note that I am English, British, which is not part of the European Commission. As you will be aware, Horizon Europe operates an association programme where countries outside of the European Commission member states can participate, of which UK associated in 2023 post-Brexit. A large number of other countries have associated, including Korea, including Canada, and otherwise mostly countries from mainland continental Europe, which are not European Union members. I think that might be it, yes.